Hello my dear students. Welcome to Vignan's Foundation for Science, Technology and Research, deemed to be University. I, Dr. MVK Srivani, Associate Professor from the Department of Sciences and Humanities, present here to discuss about biodiversity. Let me tell you what is meant by biodiversity. You can see here bio means life. Bio means life. Diversity means variation. Right? So what is biodiversity? Variety of life on earth. Or you can say simply the richness of flora and fauna. Flora means plants, fauna means animals. Okay, so this biodiversity, it consists of single-celled organisms. That means single-celled organisms to complex multicellular organisms. So you can give examples of anything. That means it includes living organisms that varies from unicellular to complex multicellular. Okay, so that is biodiversity. So now let us see in detail about biodiversity. See, what are the main objectives and outcomes of this topic? The main objective of biodiversity is to conserve it and sustainable utilization of its components. I told you many times about sustainability. Okay, so we have to utilize the components, the products from the nature in a sustainable manner, in an appropriate manner. Okay, and also to conserve biodiversity. See, the variety of the life is facing number of the problems. So now what we can do? We have to take measures, or we have to start immediately the conservation of biodiversity for sustainable development. Right? So now what is the outcome? Finally, the student can obtain knowledge and understand ecological and evolutionary processes that are important for biodiversity conservation. Biodiversity conservation importance we will identify. What is the interaction we identify finally. Okay, and we start conserving the biodiversity. You can see this picture, all of you. Here, variety of living organisms, different types of living organisms in water, land, whatever it may be, in air even. Okay, so all types of organisms you can see, variety of life. See this, plants, okay, animals, insects, all examples. Our earth is home to approximately 8.7 million species. You don't write simply 8.7 because we cannot give direct data. Correct data, it is not possible. It will change, it may decrease or it may increase. So you write approximately. Approximately 8.7 million species are present on our earth. Okay? See, I told you clearly about the definition, variety and variability. Variety of life, variety of insects, variety of birds, snakes, fish, and its variation. Okay? So now I also told you it consists of unicellular bacteria, fungi, protozoa to complex multicellular organisms. All the organisms, variety of life means. You can also give this definition. You can see this definition here. The totality of genes, species and ecosystem diversity. If you want to understand clearly the biodiversity, you have to learn all this. What is that? Genetic diversity, species diversity, ecosystem diversity. All these is equal to biodiversity. So that's why the totality of genes, species and ecosystems in a locality is biodiversity. Now this is also the definition. It is the variety and variability among living organisms. Variety of life and variability within the same species or between the different species. Okay, that is biodiversity. Now, the biodiversity can be subdivided into 3 levels. I told you very clearly, to understand biodiversity, we should know what is genetic diversity, species diversity, ecosystem or community diversity. We should know these 3. You have to learn these 3. The name itself indicate, you can see here, genetic diversity, genes. You can simply write one sentence for this, no need to learn. Variation of genes within the species. We see the characters with respect to genes. I will show the examples. You write variation of genes in the species, that is genetic diversity. Okay, species diversity. There are number of species are present in a particular place and its variation. That is species diversity. Insects, birds, snakes, amphibians, you see in a particular area, that is species diversity, richness of species. Ecosystem. I told you very clearly about ecosystem. Okay, for example, this is ocean. Any place or forest you take, you see the variation. This is the forest. Here for example, pond is present. Pond ecosystem different. With respect to physical parameters, we are seeing some change here, some variation. Okay, so next like that ocean. In oceans there are different divisions, I told you, in types of ecosystem. What are they? Surface region, it is different. Middle, it is different. Bottom in the ocean, it is different. Different type of organisms are there. That is ecosystem diversity. Okay, so now I am going to tell you this genetic diversity, species diversity and ecosystem diversity. See, I told you genetic variations within the species may be among geographically separated population and in a single population individually. Individually also we see the variation with respect to genes. Species diversity, what I told you, it is defined as number of the species and abundance of each species that live in a particular location. There are some small points here, you note down these points. Number of species that live in a particular location is called species richness. Abundance means, what is abundance? It is defined as number of individuals of each species. In each species, number of individuals is abundance. Okay, so that is about abundance and the species richness. I told you ecosystem diversity. Variation in ecosystem found in a region, in one particular place. I gave example, forest. You can see the variation in the forest. You can see the variation in the ocean. Okay, next are the variation in ecosystem over the whole planet. On earth, forest, hill, mountain, all are ecosystems only. We see the variation. Okay, so that's why we can say it is a variation in an ecosystem found in a region or the variation in ecosystem over the whole planet. Ecological diversity includes the variation in both the terrestrial and aquatic ecosystems. Ecosystems on land, I gave example forest. Ecosystems in water, I gave example ocean. We see the variations. Now you can see 3 levels of biodiversity. You can see the picture here. See, this is, you are seeing, these are all frogs only. You can see the variation here. Variation, the differences in DNA content. I told you genetic variation. I show you another examples also, you can understand very clearly. I will give you one simple example. You take an example of man. We are all Homo sapiens, human beings. We see the variation among ourselves. What kind of variation we are seeing? Color, height, resistance, that is genetic variation. Okay, clear now? So like that, these are all frogs only, we see the variation with respect to genes. Okay. Now, this is species diversity. Number and variety of species. This is one place. You can see this is one organism, this is one frogs. Like that you are seeing number of variety of the species in a particular place. That is species richness. Clear? Now you can see here ecosystem. This is one place. The number and variety of ecosystems or habitats. See, this is one habitat. Tree, this is one habitat, this is one habitat. Like that you are seeing the habitats. The number and variety of ecosystems you are seeing, water, land. And also habitats. What is habitat? I told you habitat means the place where the living things are present. Water is a habitat. Tree is a habitat. Land is a habitat. Okay, or you can say ecosystems. That's why I wrote ecosystems or habitats within a given region. This is one place, we are seeing variety of habitats in this particular place. See, this is the place. So here you can see, why they are giving arrow here? In this place, see variety of species. You can see variety of species, frogs, deer and birds and all. Variety of the species. So in one species also we can see the variation, that is genetic variation. Now is it clear? Genetic diversity, species diversity and ecosystem diversity. This is about the concept of biodiversity. See, this is the example of genetic variation. See, you can see the different colors, green color, yellow color, red color, different colors you are seeing with respect to genes. You can see here genetic diversity. See the color, all are dogs only. You can see the color. You can see the color and the size and all. So this is genetic diversity example. Species diversity. You are seeing variety of birds, variety of animals, all. That is species diversity examples. Okay, clear? Now in this lesson I covered biodiversity, genetic diversity, species diversity and ecosystem diversity, right? Thank you one and all.